It's World at Noon on Osrc Television. My name is Renny Lane. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has released his sum of 1 billion naira for payment of gratuity arrears to local government workers and primary school teachers who retired in 2012. Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Hamidu Takuro, who made the revelation, said the beneficiaries will start receiving payment from this week. Takuro said the release of the money was to ensure gratuities of retirees are paid at once rather than in piecemeal. The commissioner insisted that Governor Aiyedatiwa was sensitive to the plight of the people, especially retired civil servants. Muslims in Ondo State have joined their counterparts across the world to usher in the new Islamic calendar 1446 after Hijrah. On the first day of the new year, the faithful from different local government areas of the state converge on Akure, the state capital. Osrc Zaid Arabisala reports that the event, organized by the Ondo State chapter of National Council for Muslim Youth Organization, NACOYOM, was themed Economic and Socio-Political Liberation of Muslims in Ondo State, the role of Muslim faithful. The report.
The Ondo State Sports Complex was a point of convergence for Muslim faithful from different local government areas of the state who gathered to commemorate the new Islamic calendar year 1446 after Hijrah. Both young and old, beaming with excitement, thronged the venue in unison to reflect on the past year and project for the new one.
Islam teaches us that we should try to make peace wherever we meet ourselves. So we want to congratulate all the Muslims in the universe.
And we are here celebrating all the Muslims of Ondo State. Our message to Ondo is about Hijrah. Hijrah means migration. What is difficult to a hopeful future?
An elder statesman, Chief Jamiu Ekungba,
Hijrah calendar had been since 632 AD. That's 1,446 years. The Gregorian calendar we are using was established in 1582, which is just about how many years? About 600 years ago. This Hijrah calendar is what is adopted by the Muslim lunar month. That is the system by which we determine when we fast, when we go to Hajj, and other ritual in Islam, which is about 11 days different from the Gregorian calendar.
Guest lecturer Professor Abidin Olaiya, who spoke on the theme Economic and Socio-Political Liberation of Muslims in Ondo State, the role of Muslim faithful, enjoined effective participation in governance.
In times like this, people that are endowed should improve on their act of giving to the less privileged. Then Islam also advocated that we should not exploit one another or cheat one another, because most of the economic downturn that we about is not caused by foreign or whatever policy, but a lot of things done by a lot of I think get escape from poverty, and they are now inflicting pains on the other people.
Representing Lucky Aiyedatiwa, the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, assured the faithful of government support and commitment to their welfare.
Every of the citizens of the state contribute their quota in the cause of social responsibility and economic development of the state.
Coordinator, National Council for Mohammed.
We should not depend on what we read in the school. We should not depend on our discipline. We should go by the modernization of career path.
The faithful also used the occasion to urge Ondo State government to recognize the day, like some other states in the southwest and Nigeria, by declaring all to commemorate the day. The chairman, Osrc, Mr. Kunle Adebayo, represented at the event and joined Muslim faithful to continue to propagate the teachings of Islam.
It's not only Ramadan that the Muslim community should be coming together to their program.
The event featured match-past competition among various Muslim schools and groups, with Baitur Rahman Nasran Primary School emerging winner. As Muslims look forward to the year ahead with hope and determination, they are guided by the principles of faith and goodwill to witness a productive 1446 after Hijrah.
Also, as the Muslim community marks the commencement of the Islamic New Year 1446 AH, governors have called on the faithful to pray for unity and peace in the country. Borno and Bauchi states have declared today a work-free day to celebrate the Islamic New Year, joining Oyo, Osun, Kebbi, Jigawa, Kano, and Kwara, among others. Felicitating Muslims on the New Year, the Northern States Governors Forum urged the faithful to offer special prayers for adequate rain, a bumper harvest, and peace and unity in Nigeria and the world. The Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, congratulated the Muslim faithful in the state and appealed for a closer interfaith unity and peaceful coexistence among residents of all faiths. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde also congratulated the Muslim faithful in Nigeria, especially in the state, and urged them to internalize the lessons of the season and the values exhibited by Prophet Muhammad. Fuel scarcity is gradually surfacing in Lagos and other parts of the country as private depot owners hiked the export price of petrol from 630 naira to 720 naira per litre. This came as fuel scarcity deepened in Abuja and adjoining states, with some filling stations dispensing petrol as high as 900 naira per litre. National Vice President of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Ahmed Fashola, said Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC), which is the sole importer of petrol at the moment, should explain to Nigerians what was happening with the product. According to him, leaders of IPMA had always appealed to NNPC to supply them with petrol directly like they do to major marketers, but the body has yet to yield to the call. Fashola appealed to Nigerians to avoid panic buying, saying they should buy what they need so that the fuel in circulation could go round. Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says it will meet with the government on the 25th of this month over its unmet demands. This was as non-academic staff of universities declared that they were set for a one-day protest tomorrow on campuses over their withheld 4-month salaries. ASU National President Emmanuel Oshodeke said July 25 was the implementation date in the timeline agreed to with the federal government. For some weeks now, ASU chapters across campuses in the country have been engaging in protests. The protesting academics, who were joined by students, threatened to embark on another round of industrial action if the government refused to fulfill the promises made to them. The union also published an open letter to President Bola Tinubu demanding full implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the federal government since 2009. President Bola Tinubu has been re-elected for another one-year term as chairman of ECOWAS Authority of States and Government. Tinubu immediately appointed President of Senegal, Bassirou Faye, and the President of Togo, Faure Gnassingbe, to woo Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic to return to the regional bloc. On Friday, leaders of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger inched further away from their traditional regional allies when they signed a confederation treaty, which they said would strengthen a mutual defense pact announced last September. Tinubu, whose first tenure is to elapse tomorrow, was elected by a unanimous decision of fellow heads of government at the 65th Ordinary Session of the authority held at the State House, Abuja. He was elected chairman of the authority at the 63rd Ordinary Session of the regional bloc held last July in Bissau, the capital of Guinea-Bissau. The Southwest Caucus of All Progressives Congress in the United Kingdom has condemned the attack on officers and men of the Ondo State Amotekun Corps by Fulani headsmen in Akure North Council area. The caucus described the attack barbaric and unacceptable and promised to provide support for the victim. The group general secretary, Mr. Ayodele Adigun, expressed shock and outrage over the incident, which left some Amotekun officers injured, just as the group chairman, Andrew Taiwo, reiterated the group's call for the provision of sophisticated weapons for the Amotekun Corps to enable them to protect the people and property. It praised the Ondo State government for its prompt response to the incident and its commitment to ensuring the security of lives and properties in the state. The group also called on the federal and state governments to provide necessary enabling laws to support Amotekun to combat insecurity in the region. Still on security, the Commissioner of Police, Imo State Command, Aboki Danjuma, has condemned the attack and murder of 3 vigilante personnel at Afo Umuaka of Umuaka community in Injaba local government area of the state by gunmen over the weekend. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Ariel Koye, in a statement said the Commissioner of Police has deployed the command's tactical squad with the available operational resources to go all out in synergy with other security agencies and hunt down the hoodlums responsible for the dastardly act. Mr. Danjuma expressed sadness over the incident and vowed that the command will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that the perpetrators are all arrested and brought to justice. The Commissioner of Police called on the public, particularly residents of Injaba, who may have any information that will assist the police in apprehending the hoodlums responsible for their to report same nearest station. A total of 1,702 murders, 2,149 kidnappings, and 320 robbery cases were recorded by the Nigeria Police Force across the country in 2023. According to a report released by Statisense, a data collection organization, the North Central region had the highest number of reported murder cases, totaling 436 for the year. During the year under review, the Northwest recorded 417 murder cases, the Northeast had 345, and the Southwest recorded 174, ranking them second to fourth. In the Southeast, 169 murder cases were recorded, while the South accounted for 161. A further breakdown of reported murder cases by the state showed that Plateau had the highest number with 230 cases. French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal has arrived at the LC Presidential Palace to offer his resignation to President Emmanuel Macron's television pictures show. It is not yet clear if Macron will accept Attal's offer of resignation, which was announced as results from the election trickled through. The offer also comes just a few weeks before the Olympic Games in Paris, a major demonstration of France's opposition in the world stage gets underway. The left-wing alliance won the most seats in the French parliament, thwarting the far right in a stunning result to Sunday's second round vote. Despite avoiding a far-right government, the result means France is plunged into political limbo with no party reaching an absolute majority, leaving parliament gridlocked. Masoud Pekian, who has pledged to open Iran to the world, decisive winner of runoff and will become the country's 9th elected president. The sole moderate candidate in the race received 53.7% of the votes, or 16.3 million of the more than 30 million ballots cast. His rival, Saeed Jalili, got 44.3% or 30.5 million. The report.
As Iran's Interior Ministry announced that Masoud Pezeshkian, a moderate politician who pledged to open Iran to the world and deliver freedom its people have yearned for, had won the country's run of presidential vote. Many world leaders have begun to send in congratulatory messages. Pezeshkian is a 69-year-old cardiac surgeon, lawmaker, and former health minister. He is the sole moderate among an original field of 4 candidates, and his main opponent was Saeed Jalili, a hardline ex-nuclear negotiator who called for deeper ties with Russia and China. The participation rate in the runoff election was about 50%. It followed a ballot in the Islamic Republic that saw a historically low turnout. Over 60% of Iranian voters abstained from the snap election for a successor to Ebrahim Raisi, following his death in a helicopter crash. Activists at home and abroad had called for an election boycott, with painful memories of a violent state crackdown after protests in 2022 that was sparked by the death of Masha Amini, a woman who died in custody after allegedly violating the Islamic dress code. While faithful to Iranian's theocracy roots, Pezeshkian has in the past questioned authorities about the handling of Amini's death. The elections comes as prayer ramps up in the region over the war in Gaza. Alani says Pezeshkian's win might result in more pragmatic foreign policy for Iran. East tensions over now state talks with major powers to revive a 2015 nuclear deal and improve prospects for social liberation and political pluralism. However, some voters say they are skeptical about Pezeshkian's ability to fulfill campaign promises, as is publicly said before he doesn't intend to confront Iran's light for clear security hawks. Aderunke Kolawole, Osrc.
At least 20 people have been killed after a massive missile attack in Ukraine. In the capital, Kyiv, some people were killed in a rare daytime attack. The city's mayor said a children's hospital was hit by the missile strike and was being evacuated. The head of the military administration in the central Ukrainian city of Kyiv said at least 10 people had been killed, with three killed in the eastern town of Pokrovskov. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is visiting Poland, said Russia had fired some 40 missiles at targets across the country. The Islamist militant group Hamas has accepted a U.S. proposal to begin talks on releasing Israeli hostages, including soldiers and men, 16 days after the first phase of an agreement aimed at ending the Gaza war. The group has dropped a demand that Israel first commit to a permanent ceasefire before signing the agreement and would allow negotiations to achieve that throughout the 6-week first phase. A Palestinian official close to the internationally mediated peace efforts had said the proposal could lead to a framework agreement if embraced by Israel and would end the 9-month-old war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Akintunde Akinshemola has the details.
Hamas has accepted the U.S. proposal to begin talks on releasing Israeli hostages, including soldiers and men. That's according to a senior Hamas source who spoke on condition of anonymity because the talks are private. It comes more than 2 weeks after the first phase of an agreement aimed at ending the war in Gaza. The militant Islamist group has dropped a demand that Israel first commit to a permanent ceasefire before signing the agreement and would allow negotiations to achieve that throughout the 6-week first phase. If accepted by Israel, a Palestinian official close to the internationally mediated peace effort said it could lead to a framework agreement ending the 9-month. A source in Israel's negotiating team, speaking on condition of anonymity, said there was now a real chance of achieving an agreement.
For the first time in many months, we feel there is a spark of hope.
At a rally, families of hostages
Netanyahu, we saw you sabotage the deal over and over again at the moment of truth, and each time our hearts shattered. Do not dare break our hearts again.
Meanwhile, Israeli forces stepped up military strikes across the enclave. At least 16 people were killed when a school sheltering displaced Palestinian families in central Gaza was struck by an Israeli airstrike. That's according to the territory's health ministry and the official